Chapter 10. Viki glanced at her watch. She'd been waiting here for 20 minutes, and she was getting angrier with every extra minute that passed. How could she confront Bruce Wayne if Bruce refused to appear? Why was Bruce Wayne so important to her all of a sudden? They'd had only that one night together. They hadn't made any commitment at all except for the one that might be in her head. She didn't know what to think anymore. Ever since the other day, when those two models died right in front of her eyes, it was like Coral Maltese all over again. A world full of violence and arbitrary death. A world where you could trust no one and nothing could be taken for granted. She found herself in the middle of a brand new war. A war where the Joker made up the rules. Except this time, instead of a war started by a hand grenade or an assassin's bullet, this battle had begun when the two women laughed themselves to death. The Joker's little touch. Viki stared down at the gin and tonic on the pastel blue tabletop. The cafe here was very nice, on a balcony overlooking all of the Flugelheim, and yet it seemed so unreal here in the museum. Her surroundings like a bright, polite coat of paint on the oil-soaked, half-broken machine that was Gotham City, a machine that was about to explode. It was the fault of Coral Maltese, she supposed. After you've lived in a war zone, you can never quite trust the peace of everyday life. She had lived the last couple of years wandering close to the edge. This time, though, she might have already crossed the edge without even knowing it. What did this madman want from her? She was beginning to feel trapped. She wanted to talk to someone about all this. She wanted to talk to Bruce. Somehow, there was an air of strength to Bruce Wayne, something far deeper than the absent-minded facade he showed the world. At first, it surprised her how much she wanted to confide in Bruce about this, but her feelings ran deeper than she first realized. It's not just about the Joker in Gotham City. Maybe Bruce wouldn't share her feelings, but she had to find out. She glanced at her watch again. Only a minute or two had passed. She would sit here a while longer. Bruce should be coming. After all, he had reserved a table for them in the museum's tea room. The waiter had shown her there right away, mentioning that Mr. Wayne had yet to arrive. She started to wonder what Bruce had asked her here for, unless, Viki realized, Alfred had arranged the reservation for Bruce. She was rather charmed by the old butler, and she imagined he felt a certain warmth toward her as well. It had never occurred to her before this. Alfred couldn't possibly be matchmaking, could he? If so, what did Mr. Wayne feel about the whole thing? Was that why he was late? Viki wondered if she might be entirely misreading Bruce's intentions. Why didn't she just get up and leave? She looked at her watch again. She decided she would wait a minute longer. She sipped her gin and tonic as she watched the waiter approach. He was carrying a package. "Miss Vale, this just arrived for you," the waiter murmured before he turned on his heels and disappeared. It was a small parcel, wrapped in brown paper, with 3 words written on in crayon, her name, and a large red urgent. She tore off the wrapper. Inside, there was a small white box with a note attached, also written in crayon. Dear V. Vale, put this on right now. Viki opened the box. But what was this small red and green thing inside? It looked nothing so much as a miniature gas mask. She noticed an odd hissing noise. There was a purple smoke coming from the ventilators in the corners of the room. Waiters collapsed on the floor, letting trays of food crash with them. The fellow at the table next to her dropped his fork and fell face first into his pasta salad. Viki put on the mask. A moment later, she was the only one still conscious in the entire restaurant. 100 people had fallen around her. Some rested on tables, half in, half out of their meals. Far more had fallen to the floor, their arms and legs at unnatural angles. Some of them had collected in piles near the doors as they realized what was happening and tried futilely to turn and escape. All of them were out cold. At least, Viki hoped they were unconscious only. The far door of the museum slammed open violently. Whether she wanted it or not, Viki was receiving visitors. A couple of the boys used a little plastic explosive to rip the delivery doors of the museum off their hinges. Sure, it was visiting time, and they could have walked right in, but where was the drama in that? The Joker led the way. He had put on his artist's beret for the occasion. The boys followed quickly, toting the champagne and glasses, and of course Steve Reno carried that huge ghetto blaster. Boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka. It was time to party! He walked over to the nearest wall to examine the artwork. Okay, everybody, he announced. Let's broaden our minds. The boys all went to look at the paintings of their own. Boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka. The radio commented. The Joker sighed. Odd to be in the presence of so much fine art. Now, of course, that these were ideal viewing circumstances. Oh, the champagne and music were fine, but you had to watch out with all these bodies on the floor. A person could trip or turn an ankle or something, and if he wasn't careful. Oh, well, it was true what they said. You had to suffer for your art. Ah, here was a painting the Joker recognized. Blue Boy by Gainsborough. A beautiful full-length portrait of a young man dressed in blue. What lines, what sense of color. It was almost perfect. The Joker raised his cane to trace the outlines of the portrait. Yes, he could feel the artistic impulse now. He pressed that special button on the handle of the cane, the one that tripped the switchblade. Now, he wanted just the right sensibility here. The Joker bit on his tongue as he carved a large Joker smile in the Blue Boy's canvas face. There, much better. He smiled at his underlings. Art could be so satisfying. The boys took that as their cue to make artwork of their own, working quickly with their knives and spray paint, giving all those stuffy old Manets and Renoirs and Degas some thoroughly modern additions. Boom shakalaka laka, the radio urged them on. Boom shakalaka laka. It was much better with music. As the Joker always said, whistle while you work. He moved on down the line of paintings, letting the boys have their way with all but the very best. What do we hear? The Scream by Edvard Munch. A black and white figure screaming with pain and anguish and madness. A creature both pitiful and terrifying in its intensity, as if it contained all the pain and anguish and madness of the world. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw a dagger swinging into action. He glanced around to see Bob about to make a slice of his own, the Joker raised a cautionary finger. "I kinda like this one," he declared. "Leave it." Bob grinned and nodded. He jogged further along the wall, ready to spray paint at Jackson Pollock. Jackson Pollock? It seemed sort of pointless, but Bob should have his fun. In the meantime, the Joker had other business. His date was waiting for him in the cafe upstairs. Boom shakalaka-laka, boom shakalaka-laka. Viki could feel the trap close around her. The Joker and a dozen of his men burst into the museum and set about methodically destroying the paintings. Viki wondered if there was some way she could run for it, but within seconds of their arrival, henchmen were covering both main doors and all the emergency exits as well. Then the Joker saw her. He waved pleasantly as he approached. His face was no longer ghostly white, but his unnatural smile was still there. His good cheer made Viki feel even more trapped than she had before. The Joker pulled up a chair. He nodded at her mask. "I think it's safe to take that off." Hesitantly, she took off her mask as the Joker snapped his fingers. Two of his goons rushed forward, one with a pair of candlesticks and the other with an enormous portable radio. Boom shakalaka-laka, boom shakalaka. The Joker pressed a button. The disco beat was replaced by 1,001 strings. He pulled a silver lighter from inside his purple double-breasted coat. He flicked it on, and a foot-long flame burst forth. He lit the candles. It was all like some sort of tremendous parody of romance. "You're beautiful," the Joker remarked smoothly. Viki stared across the table. What did you say to a madman? "Thank you," was what she finally decided on. "In an old-fashioned sort of way," the Joker continued. "I'm sure we can make you more today." He moved his chair a little closer. Viki resisted the urge to move hers away. There must be some way out of this. She would have to humor him, though. Until she found it. The Joker looked down at a medium-sized black case leaning against Viki's chair. "This is your portfolio," he cried in delight. "Yes," Viki replied, taken aback by his enthusiasm. "I'm meeting a friend who wanted to see my work." The Joker snatched the portfolio in a single fluid move, unzipped it, and spread it out across the table. There were fashion photos on top. "Crap," he announced. He turned the plastic pages to the magazine covers and celebrity shots. "Crap," he repeated. He turned the pages more quickly, past photos of heads of state, world events, scenic vistas. "Crap, crap, crap," he reiterated. The Joker stopped. "Ah, now here's good work." Viki saw he had gotten to the photos from Corto Maltese. "The skulls," the Joker gushed admiringly. "The bodies! You give it all such a glow." He grinned up at Viki. "I don't know if it's art, but I like it." Viki didn't know what to say, so she didn't say anything. "Let me tell you what I've got in mind, sweetie," the Joker began in a voice like velvet. "I was in the bathtub one day when I realized why I was destined for greatness. You know how concerned most people are about appearances, as prey that is not." He shook his head. "Well, that's all for me. In crime, the passions ripen fully." His voice started to rise, as if here at last was something he really believed in. "Now I do what others only dream of. I do art until somebody dies. He raised both his hands in a gesture of triumph. See? I am the world's first fully functioning homicidal artist. Viki had had enough of this madman. She glared at him. What do you want? She demanded. I want my face on a $1 bill, he exclaimed, the further still there. Viki leaned back in his chair. Good goal. I take it you're joking? The Joker howled with sudden fury. He pointed at his face. Do I look like I'm joking? But instantly the Joker smiled at her again. The sudden anger suddenly over. Look, he said, the velvet tones reasserting themselves. We mustn't mistake ourselves for regular people. We're artists. For instance, let me challenge you a little piece I did. He glanced at one of his men. Bob, you bring in Alicia? The lackey scurried away as Joker turned back to Viki. You'll make a pictorial record of my work, he insisted. You'll be with me in the avant-garde. Viki realized that if she weren't so afraid, she might find the Joker fascinating. He was completely mad. At the same time, completely sincere. A woman's voice spoke behind her. Jack? Viki turned round. Joker's henchman was leading a woman dressed in white, wearing a porcelain doll's mask. The woman didn't seem to be very steady on her feet, and her guide had spent as much time ensuring she kept her balance as urging her forward. You said I could watch you improve the paintings, the newcomer said. Her voice was slow and unsteady, as if slurred from alcohol or drugs. Joker rolled his eyes. Oh, I'm in trouble now. Viki couldn't help herself. It was the news hound in her. Even though she was afraid of the answer, she asked what was on her mind. Why is she wearing a mask? Well, she's just a sketch, really, the Joker replied humbly. Alicia, come here, have a seat. Show the lady why you wear a mask. Another henchman pulled up a chair, and Alicia sat. She started to remove the mask, her drugged fingers moving slowly. You see, Miss Vale, the Joker continued, Alicia's been made over in line with my new philosophy. Now, like me, she's a living work of art. Alicia took off the mask. Oh, God. Viki lurched out of her seat. She couldn't help herself. The chair fell with a crash as she stumbled away. I'm no Picasso. The Joker continued as modest before. You like it. Viki threw a second chair in the Joker's path. Like it? She couldn't look back at Alicia no matter how much she tried. The left side was completely normal of Mal's face, but the right side, skin melted into muscle, which in turn eroded away to scar tissue and bone. How long had it taken the Joker to destroy Alicia's face so completely? The Joker grinned at her, that crazy, sincere grin. What could she say to him? How could she get out of here? It's great, she managed. But what can I do for you? The Joker spread his hands wide. A little song, he suggested tunefully. His feet tapped across the floor. A little dance, he added cheerfully. He mimed placing something large and round on a pole. and Batman's head up on a lance. He concluded brightly. Tell me what you know about his hand turned to a pair of bat wings. Viki shook her head. I don't know anything about Batman. Really? The Joker replied indifferently, as if this had been the answer he was expecting all along. He wiggled his eyebrows. Well then, what do you think about a little you and me? This was impossible. There was no way to humor someone like the Joker. I think you're insane. She spat back, half rising from her chair. I am? I thought I was a Pisces. He spread his hands wide in a gesture of supplication as he stood. Come on, let's make up. He walked around the table toward her. Here's a flower. One of his hands encircled a large purple boutonniere on his lapel, while the other hand reached into his coat pocket. The bulb was large and shiny. It looked as if it might be made of plastic. There was nothing natural about that flower. No! Viki screamed. She jumped aside, almost toppling the table, as the jet of clear liquid sprayed from the center of the purple bloom. A pillar behind her smoked and sizzled where it hit. It was acid. The Joker grinned at her. He took another step in her direction, as if he would certainly accept the flower, now that she knew its true purpose. He was going to kill her, or worse, make her into something like Alicia. Viki backed away. She dumped into a waiter's cart. The Joker walked toward her. She had to keep him away from her. She needed a weapon. She grabbed a water pitcher from the cart and threw it at the Joker. The pitcher missed, but it drenched the Joker with water. No! He shrieked, his hands covered his face. No! He bent over double. The tan was coming off on his fingers, revealing the bone-white skin beneath. I'm melting! He fell to his knees. I'm melting! He writhed on the floor. Oh, God, I'm melting! Viki was so frightened that it took her a minute to realize that the Joker was quoting the Wicked Witch of the West. Help me! The Joker croaked, staggering back. Had she really hurt him? Despite herself, she took a step forward. He leaped forward abruptly. Boo! He screamed. He was on top of her. She couldn't get away. All she could see was the purple flower and that big, big grin. Something shattered overhead.